What is up? It is Big Char Trades back with another video, and in this video I am going to be recapping my trade from today. Today I made like 1900 across 5 of my top step 150Ks and then 760 across 2 of my alpha. And then also on this eval, on this 150K my funded futures eval, we made like 2.7K. Sized in heavy with like 7 cons because I'm trying to pass this as fast as I can. So with that being said, let's get into the video. I caught like 26 points trading the NASDAQ. So with that being said, on the higher time frames, we didn't really have anything. We were at all-time highs on the daily on both, ES and the NASDAQ, dropping down to the 4-hour. All that we have really is this new weekly opening gap. There aren't really any PD arrays that I expected price to trade into. And then on the 1-hour, this is actually where I got, the narrative for my trade. So we have this order block right here. And as you can see, it is the same order block as right here on ES. And you can see that bullish SMT. You can see that ES pulled into that order block. And the NASDAQ is actually nowhere near that order block. So the reason why this is an order block is because we have this little mini fair value gap that, yes, was inversed, but, I still count this as an order block. If you don't know, an order block is when price pulls into a fair value gap and then the next candle or a few candles after that close above that down close candle or candle in the opposing direction. So this for me was an order block, and it's a little bit more clear on ES. As you can see on ES, that fair value gap was never mitigated. Let's zoom in a little bit. Oh, no, not this one. Well, that's a fair value gap too, but I'm talking about this one. As you can see, ES pulled into that gap, and then we closed above it, making this an order block. So with that, at market open, or my draw, let me get into my draws for today. So my draws for today were London highs. It's not that clear. So, before market open, around like 9:15, my draw was this high, and then my draw was this high and this high, and then eventually London highs. These were my targets for the day, and then dropping down to the 5-minute. We didn't really have anything here. We had these two bearish 5-minute gaps that ended up getting mitigated or inversed. And my actual entry, and I'll show you guys right now, my actual entry for this trade was this 1-minute fair value gap that got inversed. So I entered like on this candle, right, these candles. And my final TP was this high right here, but I ended up here. I'll show you my executions. As you can see, I entered with 5 cons as my, starter position, and then I added 2 more on this dip right here. So my final TP was this high, but I ended up clipping it right here because if you look at the 5-minute, we were really respecting this 5-minute bearish gap. As you can see, this down close candle, this is a very oh my God, we're dumping right now, but this is a pretty bearish candlestick, especially when it delivers out of a, fair value gap. So I wasn't really that confident in this trade. At the end of the day, this trade also, wasn't a plus setup, right? Like the PD array, the order block, the hourly order block was on ES, and we had all of this bearish SMT or bullish SMT, which was the main proponent of this trade. But typically, I don't like taking trades when the NASDAQ doesn't actually pull into a PD array, because that typically means that the NASDAQ just isn't delivering. But I was willing to put on this trade because I was really bullish, and I liked that ES filled this new weekly opening gap right here, and we had all of this bullish SMT because, as you can see on the NASDAQ, we're nowhere near filling that gap. It's all the way down here. So that was like the main reason why I took this trade, and also it's a 1-minute inversion. So with that, I was kind of wary about this trade, but we ended up closing the trade right here, down here at this rejection. So initially, my entry was like average of like 8 something, like 8, let's say 8-1, right? So initially, this was the trade idea, right? That was my entry, and then final TP is right here. So the whole trade idea would be for like 40 points. Nice 2.46R, but I ended up clipping the trade at 507.25 right here. So it ended up being a 1.6R, right? And I caught like 26 points instead of the full move. So like nearly half of it. But, I clipped it because of that reaction from the 5-minute bearish fair value gaps. So this was my trade from today. Again, pretty nice day. It is a no news Monday. So, when we're in a scenario like this, no news Monday, high impact news, Tuesday through Friday, it is a pretty improbable day. But, I was willing to take this trade because I had pretty strong conviction, and this is a discretionary model. So if I'm feeling that type of way, I'll take it. I'm fine with putting on the risk. But yeah, good day today. With that being said, if you took the same trade as me, or you have anything to say about my trade or any questions, go ahead and comment them in the comments below. As always, I posted the recap on Twitter as well, so you can go ahead and look at all the confluences and my executions. And then, also for the narrative premium that I dropped last week, dropping my daily draw and liquidity, trade ideas, commentary, live Q&As 3 days a week. So if you want to go ahead and join that, the link will be in the description. Also, Alpha Futures new zero plan is insane. I think they're doing a 20% off promo on the new zero accounts until the end of the month. So it's July 28th as I'm recording this. So, you have a few days to go and cop an account. Or if you want a new My Funded Futures scaling account, which is actually this, Trade of 8 account right here, which I'm trading with, after 5 payouts, your 5th payout can be $7,500. So pretty insane rules. I'm really excited about these accounts. And yeah, that concludes my trade recap from today. If you feel like subscribing, go ahead and subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one.